Should you sell your current home before buying the next one? One of the biggest questions move up buyers ask me is this: Lisa, should we sell our current home first, or should we find our next house before we put this one on the market? And honestly, this question can stop a family from moving forward for months. You may know that your current home no longer works for you. You may need another bedroom, a larger kitchen, a home office, a finished basement, more land, or simply a different location. But the idea of selling before knowing where you are going can feel risky. At the same time, buying another home while you still own your current one may feel financially overwhelming. So today, I want to walk you through the three main ways families handle the situation, the advantages and risks of each option, and how to determine which strategy may give you the most peace of mind. Because when you are buying and selling at the same time, the goal is not simply to complete two transactions. The goal is to make sure the two transactions work together. Buying and selling at the same time is not a race. It is a coordinated strategy. Let's start with the first option: selling your current home first. Selling first may place you in the strongest financial position when it is time to purchase your next home. Once your home has sold, you know exactly how much equity you have available. You know how much money can go towards the next down payment. You know whether you have enough to pay off certain debts, cover moving expenses, or keep additional cash available after closing. Selling first can also make your offer on the next property more attractive because you know your offer may no longer depend on selling another house. That can matter when you find a home that has multiple interested buyers. A seller may feel more comfortable accepting an offer from someone whose current property is already sold. Your home equity is powerful, but only when you know how and when it will become available. The challenge with selling first is obvious. Where are you going to live? Some homeowners sell and temporarily move into a rental. Others stay with relatives. Some negotiate a rent back agreement that allows them to remain in the property for a short period after closing. And some coordinate the sale and purchase closely enough that they move directly from one house into the next. But that last option requires detailed planning. Selling first can provide financial clarity, but it can also create emotional pressure if you feel like you must quickly choose another property. I never want my clients to sell a home they love and then they feel forced to buy a house they do not love just because the clock is running. A temporary move may be inconvenient, but buying the wrong home can be much more expensive. That is why we must discuss your comfort level before putting the property on the market. Would you be willing to rent for a few months? Do you have family nearby? Could you place some of your furniture in storage? Do you have children whose school schedules must be considered? Do you have pets that can make temporary housing more difficult? The best real estate strategy is not always the strategy that looks easiest on paper. It must also work for your actual life. Now let's talk about the second option: buying your next home first. For some homeowners, buying first provides the greatest sense of security. You know exactly where you're moving. You can take your time moving your belongings. You may even be able to complete painting, flooring, or other projects in the new home before you move into it. Buying first can be especially appealing when you are searching for something very specific. Perhaps you want a newer home in White Plains. Maybe you want acreage in La Plata or Hughesville. Perhaps you want a larger home in Accokeek, Brandywine, or Upper Marlboro. Maybe you need a first floor bedroom, a 3-car garage, a home office, or an in-law suite. When your list of requirements is very specific, it may take time to find the right property. You should not sell your current home without understanding how difficult your replacement home may be to find. However, buying first can create financial pressure. Can you qualify for the new mortgage while the current mortgage is still reporting? Do you have enough money for the down payment without accessing the equity in your current home? Would you be comfortable carrying two mortgages temporarily? What happens if your current home takes longer to sell than expected? These questions should be answered before you start touring homes. Confidence does not come from hoping everything works out. Confidence comes from knowing your numbers before you make the offer. Your lender plays a major role in this strategy. A strong lender can help us determine whether you qualify while carrying both properties, whether certain loan options may help, and how the timing of your current mortgage payoff affects the next purchase. Your realtor and lender should be working together before you fall in love with a house. not after. That brings us to the third option, buying with a home sale contingency. A home sale contingency means your purchase depends on the successful sale of your current property. This can allow you to secure your next home while still protecting yourself if your existing property does not sell. But there is something important you need to understand. A home sale contingency may make your offer less attractive to the seller. The seller is not only evaluating whether you can purchase their home, they are also evaluating the likelihood that your current home will sell. That means the condition, pricing, location, and marketability of your home matter. If your property is already listed, professionally presented, priced appropriately, and receiving activity, the seller may feel more confident. If your property has not been prepared, photographed, or listed yet, your contingency may appear much riskier. You cannot ask another seller to trust the sale of your home when you have not created a serious plan to sell it. In some cases, the seller may accept the contingency but include what is commonly called a kick-out provision. That may allow the seller to continue marketing the property. If the seller receives another acceptable offer, you may give a limited period to remove your contingency or step aside. The exact contract terms matter, which is why the strategy needs to be reviewed carefully for your specific transaction. So which option is best? The correct answer depends on 5 things: your available cash, your ability to qualify while owning both homes, the amount of equity in your current home, how easy or difficult your next home may be to find, and your personal tolerance for risk and temporary inconvenience. For example, imagine that you own a townhouse in Waldorf and want to purchase a larger single-family home in White Plains. You have significant equity, but you need that equity for the new down payment. In that situation, selling first or coordinating closely with a home sale contingency may make sense. Now imagine that you own a home in Fort Washington, have enough savings for the next down payment, and can comfortably qualify while carrying both mortgages. Buying first may give you more flexibility, or perhaps you own a highly marketable home in Accokeek and want a very specific forever home with acreage. We might prepare your property for sale, begin quietly watching the market, and create a plan that can move quickly when the right house appears. There is no one-size-fits-all answer. There is only the best answer for your finances, your family, and your next move. Selling first may strengthen your purchasing power. Buying first may reduce the fear of not having somewhere to go. A contingency may connect the two transactions, but it must be structured carefully. The wrong order can create unnecessary stress. The right order can turn 2 complicated transactions into 1 coordinated move. Before you list your current home or begin seriously touring properties, request the 3 things. First, an estimated net showing that you may receive from your sale after the mortgage and selling expenses are paid. Secondly, a lender review showing that you can qualify for both and after the current property sells. Third, a realistic search review showing how often homes your next requirements available become. The 3 pieces of information can help build your moving strategy, and that is what I specialize in. I help move up buyers throughout Southern Maryland and the Washington Metro DC area create a plan to sell their current home and purchase one without feeling like they are making decisions in the dark. If you're trying to decide whether you should sell first, buy first, or connect the 2 transactions with a contingency, reach out to me. I'm Lisa Pender with the Pender Group of eXp Realty. Let's look at your current home, your equity, your purchasing options, and your ideal timeline so we can create a plan that works for your family, because your next move should not begin with pressure. It should begin with a strategy.